I decided from that day forward, if I ever got my together, he would never beat me again, ever.
I met a gypsy.
But like, I could see a situation where being the points leader would give you more anxiety instead of less. Like, I feel like there could be a buffer just below. Like, but to you, it's just you want to be in that top spot. Like, have you ever thought about the psychology of that and why you prefer it?
Yeah, I have a little bit. I mean, honestly, I think 21 was the season that taught me more about being ahead than behind. Like 2019, I was, like you said, we were all in the hunt really early, within a few points, and you're in a good spot. But 2021, at one point, I think 18 or 20 back at one spot, and you're kind of instantly you're shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, and knowing like, hey, yes, I can achieve this championship or this red plate, but I have to play catch up, and then I'm relying on someone else's really mistakes in a sense. So that's kind of my mentality. As I agree, like in maybe a perfect scenario, you could be a few points behind, but I think it's how you apply it. You know, obviously with the red plate, you do have pressure, and you maybe have the media or the eyes or that little bit more pressure on you, but you're not playing from behind, right? You're always, obviously right now it's pretty much winner take all because we're tied, but nine times out of 10 when you have the red plate, you're in the driver's seat. So, you know, you can afford to have those maybe second or third place nights where it most of the time puts a lot of, in my opinion, more pressure on the guy behind you to actually step up and have to not only beat you, but then put points on you as well. So, you know, it's whatever way you look at it, and I think that's why we're all maybe wired differently, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny with you too. I feel like you're one of the guys that has just experienced like the full gamut of, like you said, the media eyes and the pressure and the team situation. Like, you've been fully out of the picture completely and had like these years where you weren't in the hunt at all, and then you've had the years where you were the man, and then you've had the years where you were like scrounging from behind to come back to win. Like, I feel like of all the guys on the gate, and I mean, Eli's won a lot too, but I feel like he's done it in a different kind of way, you know, like it was never out of the hunt in a sense. So when you look at the experience that you've got in these championship situations, like, you're a super well-rounded dude. And to think now, like, going for a third 450 Supercross championship, like, that's a lot of races that you've had to be in the hunt and, you know, in with a chance to get into that position. Like, there's not that many guys that have won 3 450 titles.
No, absolutely. And like you said, just being in that hunt and in that category is already a great feeling. You know, I think even after my second one, it was kind of like when you look back and look at guys that have done it twice, once again, there's not many there. So like I said, it's all perspective, and going back, like you said, I've kind of been all over in seasons. I've been had seasons where I felt like 2019, it almost came very natural where things went my way a lot, and I didn't know any better in a sense, right? To where I think, like you said, with Eli, he kind of won from the beginning of when he got into the 450 and has always had that maybe expectation a little bit. So, like I said, my especially second year, I really, you know, didn't do too well on the 450 class. So the perspective of, like, I remember battling my balls off just for top 10, you know? So it's changed a lot, and I've grown as a racer and kind of gotten back to my 250 ways, or the championship ways and the championship mindset, where I always feel like I'm at my best. And, you know, every year is totally different. But like you said, to be in that conversation of a potential third is definitely amazing. And like you said, you have to put yourself in that situation, but also have done it and been there, and experience comes into play at this stage, especially when you're going against a guy like Eli who's also done it twice.
Yeah, it's such a sick championship from the outside perspective. I mean, I feel like you probably wish there was less dudes that are as good as what they are right now. But like, what a fucking mental season this year has been. Probably one of my favorite Supercross seasons ever. Like, you think about the guys that we have at the top of the sport, and the different guys that have chances of like winning races.
Mm-hmm.
It's just must be a fucking nightmare for you to deal with. But like, dude, it's been unbelievable to watch from the outside.
Yeah, it has. I think perspective, when you put it into perspective, it really has been an amazing season from a fan standpoint. There's always plenty of guys that can go out and win, but I feel like this year is even higher, and we've seen the level of competition rise every weekend. There's potential of a new winner, and I think to have 3 championship guys, and to this point, this late into the season, is probably one of the first times it's happened, since probably the Chad, Stu, and Ricky days, So, and I think just championship contender-wise, me, Chase, and Eli have 3 completely kind of different styles and attitudes and the way we go about things. And, but like you said, you got guys that have won plenty of races and also won championships that are in the mix every weekend too. So the level's high, and I think about that too. Like in 21 or 19 and all these years, like the way I'm riding right now, I would have probably won twice the amount of races back then.
Yeah,
but that's the sport. It evolves, and I think at the end of the year, no matter how it turns out, I can hang my hat high that I race literally the best guys in the world at maybe one of the pinnacle times in our sport.
Dude, 100%. That's facts right there. Like, whoever wins this championship this year is a legitimate G in the overall like global Supercross picture, because I just don't think that there's been as many guys, and it's not even the guys that just win, right? So like, I mean, how many winners have we had? Has it been like maybe 4?
It's 4.
4.
AP
so
was
it's not
close.
Dude, I know. But so it's like, it's not that many winners, right? When you break it down into who's actually won the races. But when you think of it from a championship perspective, when you've got so many guys that are so good, like a bad night is an 8th or a 9th.
Yeah.
Right now. And that's never really happened. Like, you could see like a Chad, Ricky era, a bad night is a 3rd. And like a 4th would be crazy to get. Like, you'd have to really make some mistakes to be in that Chad, James, Ricky category and get a 4th in a Supercross race. Whereas nowadays, like, Eli's got, I think he's got like an 8th and a, like, he's had like a couple bad ones where it wasn't like there was no huge mistakes. Like, he just couldn't make up those positions. So I think that, when you look at it from like that perspective too, of just like how many dudes can get in between you and the guy that you're battling in the championship with, that makes this championship super gnarly as well. Yeah,
that's where, like you said, I think when you put it into that kind of category, that's where it really does get gnarly. Like, I think starting to look at statistics more just because they're more available, and I think like I was looking yesterday, and me, Chase, and Eli have now shared the podium 7 times, which is pretty crazy, to do. And this is really the first season that's happened. But like you're saying, if you were to fall in the first turn, or you do have a tip over, or, say you legitimately get a bad start, it's not a guaranteed podium. It's not even a guaranteed top 5 anymore, And I think that's the level that we know that is in Supercross now. And, the top 10 is 250 champions or podium guys, and I mean it really is tough. So I think like we keep saying, that's what's made this year very special. Not only how many different winners there could be or how many guys are in the championship run, but just when you go down the line and look at the list of talent, and like you said, I think maybe even for me in other years, I could have a really bad start or even a tip over, and I knew no matter what, hey, I'm going to be on the podium or at least a top 5, and it's definitely not like that anymore. I mean, you're less than even 90% now, and you're not even guaranteed a top 5. So that's what makes it really tough, but also I think what is pretty rewarding when you do get a win or you do put yourself in this position, like, man, I'm really, really in a good spot.
dude, like even winning a heat race is so gnarly. Like it took how many rounds for you to get a heat race this year? Like that shit's no joke. Like that's becoming actually a gnarly thing to be a guy that can win a heat race.
Yeah, it's for me the heats are even harder, dude, because honestly anyone in our class right now 1 to 12 can lay it down for 8 to 10 laps, and go for that heat race bonus, right? So they're like, once again, like you said, it's not one even now where you can just be off or have a bad start in that and be like, oh, all right, I'll take a third in the heat and get a fifth place gate pick. It's like, dude, I've straight up gotten a couple like fifths where I'm like, damn it, dude, I'm going to the line 10th or 11th, and I was trying and just didn't execute. So it's a lot to it now, qualifying, the heats, it's all basically adding up to what your main event could or couldn't be, and it's definitely becoming more important, and like you said, the level is just getting higher. So yeah, it's Supercross at a whole nother level, I'd say, right now.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.